I just finished Dauntless, and my brain feels like it just went to 10 classes with a physics professor while simultaneously directing $1 billion space opera. Seriously, if you came here looking for a nuanced, emotionally devastating character study, you're in the wrong galaxy. This book is the literary equivalent of a perfectly executed low-altitude flyover, loud, impressive, and focused entirely on the machinery. The whole setup is gloriously bonkers. We meet Captain John Blackjack Geary, who got stuck in a cryostasis pod about a century ago. When he wakes up, he realizes his last, desperate, totally unsuccessful battle was rewritten by history and PR hacks until he became the Alliance's answer to King Arthur, Captain America, and maybe a dash of Chuck Norris. Every single thing he ever said is now a propaganda slogan. Every minor decision is a scripture. The man is essentially Space Jesus who just wants a decent cup of coffee and to figure out why everyone is saluting him like he cured cancer. My favorite part of his internal struggle is the sheer overwhelming awkwardness. You know that feeling when a waiter sings happy birthday to you and you just want the floor to swallow you whole. Geary lives that feeling 24/7, but instead of a slice of cake, he's handed command of an entire, crippled fleet deep inside enemy territory. He's supposed to be this ruthless, hyper-aggressive legend, but the actual guy is just a competent officer who knows his regulations and is deeply uncomfortable being worshipped. The narrative constantly makes him ask, wait, am I that guy? And you just want to grab his shoulders and yell, nobody, you're not. But for the love of the Alliance, just play the part. The thing is, the myth-making needed to be intense, because the people running the fleet in his absence were, and I say this with professional detachment, absolute tactical clowns. A century of brutal warfare has turned the Alliance Navy into a horde of glorified space pirates. Their fighting philosophy boils down to charge headlong into the enemy and hope you die gloriously. It's like watching a bunch of toddlers argue over a single crayon. Geary steps onto the bridge of the flagship, the Dauntless, and he realizes he hasn't just inherited a crisis. He's inherited a galactic disaster maintained by institutional insanity. It's a hilarious reversal. The fleet needs a myth to save them, but they actually just need the guy who remembers how to tie his tactical boots. This is where the book truly shines, and where my inner armchair admiral started sweating with excitement. Campbell clearly knows a thing or two about being on a ship. He spent meticulous time on the space battles, and they are not your typical pew-pew dogfights. They are intricate three-dimensional chess games played out across light years. The commitment to the physics of lightspeed travel and context in combat is just delightful. When you see an enemy fleet 4 light hours away, you're not seeing them now, you're seeing them 4 hours ago. This means Geary isn't fighting ships, he's fighting ghosts, calculating where they will be when his weapons finally arrive. He turns every encounter into a complex geometry problem involving vectors, time lag, and the precise moment of emergence from jump space. I will not lie, I had to stop and reread some maneuvers just to appreciate the genius of it. It's detailed, it's beautiful, and it completely makes up for any shortcomings elsewhere. Because yeah, there are shortcomings, specifically with the squishy human stuff. If you were hoping to cry over a lost love or agonize with a secondary character over their moral dilemma, you're probably better off watching an infomercial. The secondary characters, while definitely present and instrumental, especially the no-nonsense Captain Desjani, are mostly here to serve a function. Either they are skeptical rivals, loyal lieutenants, or annoying politicians. They don't exactly jump off the page and demand a backstory. You'll be too busy admiring the physics of a plasma torpedo trajectory to remember what color hair anyone has, which frankly is fine. The book makes a calculated trade-off: depth of character for depth of deployment. Reading Dauntless is a supremely fun, unchallenging experience, in the best way possible. It has that addictive, just one more chapter quality, like a perfectly balanced bag of potato chips. It's military sci-fi that scratches that specific itch for order, discipline, and seeing one hyper-competent person solve every problem thrown at them. Yes, Geary's internal monologue about the legend of Blackjack gets repeated enough times that I started muttering it under my breath while checking my messages. But once the battle starts, it's pure, exhilarating escapism. So, is Dauntless worthy? Absolutely. It's designed to be devoured quickly and enjoyed thoroughly. It will not win any prizes for emotional cry sessions, but if you want a book where the hero is so good at his job that he can fix a broken galactic navy with little more than superior training and a stern look, this is it. It's smart enough to keep the sci-fi nerds happy and action-packed enough to keep the pages turning. Go read it and prepare to spend the next week trying to calculate the relative position of your car keys based on the speed of light.